and welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you some more Christmas DIYs using things that you probably already have. So if you want how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. All right, Maxwell? Okay, for this next one, we're going to make a Christmas tree garland. I've given you the pattern in the description below. You're going to cut it out of white felt or whatever color felt you want to. I'm using white, and these are all the pieces. You cut them out by hand, or you can cut them out with an SVG file. Then I'm using some faux leather for the trunk of the tree, and I'm just cutting it with a regular paper cutter. It was the easiest way for me to do that. Okay, to assemble them, I'm just taking 2 of the white trees. I'm taking the little hanger part. I'm going to glue it together to hang at the top. You need to leave the opening so you can run some string through it. And then I'm just going to start gluing this around. I'm only going to do the first top part and the middle part, and then I'm going to stuff them. It's easier if you do it this way than try to do the whole thing. And just make sure that you do let it dry good before you start stuffing it. Otherwise, it'll just come back open. I'm just using regular polyfill to fill this up, and I'm not going to overstuff it, but I do just want to have it beefed up a little bit. Just so it's just not so flat. And then after I get that section full, you want to make sure you go into the little corner areas. And then we're going to go ahead and glue the bottom down so that we can fill it up as well. Just come around the edges of that. And you're going to stop right after you get around the curve. And do the same thing on the opposite side. And you do want to let that dry between times so that it doesn't pop open when you're stuffing it. Okay, while that dries, I'm going to do the trunk of the tree, and I'm just going to glue this in half. And the half that is doesn't have the curve at the bottom, the finished out on the bottom, that half is going to go up into the tree. Just make sure you get it glued closed. And then we're going to put it right down into the center and glue that in. And then continue to fill until you get it full again, and then close up the bottom the same way. And then just start on one side, glue it till you get into the middle, and then you can go ahead and stuff the other side a little bit fuller once you get that closed in. Just kind of push it into the corners of the little tree. Continue to close up the bottom, and then I'm going to add a little bit more stuffing in the side here just to fluff it up a little bit more before I close up the bottom completely. And you can get quite a bit of stuffing in these. To decorate them up, I'm just going to take some glue, put 3 little dots at a diagonal, and I'm going to add some crystals to this. Now you can use these for even gifts or just hanging them as an ornament on the tree. I'm making a garland out of this one, and I'm going to use 8 of them in my garland. And I'm just going at a diagonal, and I'm going to do the exact same design on all of them. And that little tool is a real good tool. I'll give you the link for that in the description below. Next, I'm taking some little green felt balls that I got on Etsy. I'll give you the link for those. And then I'm taking some embroidery floss, and I'm going to string my trees. I've got 8 of my trees to go. I'm going to string one of the balls first, and then I'm going to string a tree, and then a ball, a tree, a ball, just alternating until I get to the end. And the felt balls are what's going to hold the trees in place because they will not slide down that floss. You have to move them around, and I'll show you when I actually hang it up. Just keep going until you have them completely put together. If you push those felt balls right up against those trees, it'll keep that tree from moving. For this one, I'm taking some 1 3/4 inch discs, and I'm going to glue 2 together. And I'm just going to use wood glue, and I'm going to set them aside. Now, you'll want to get the excess glue off the side once you squeeze them together so that they are clean. Next, I'm taking some little doll heads I got at Hobby Lobby that measure about 1 inch in diameter and some popsicle sticks of the large popsicle sticks. And I'm going to glue those heads right to the very tip top of my popsicle sticks. Just going to put a little bit of glue on there, stick it to my stick, and then I'm just going to set that aside to dry. And I'm going to do the same thing for all 3 of them. Next, I'm taking some little wooden rings that measure 1¼ inches in diameter, and I'm going to paint those with a metallic gold paint. And I'm going to wear a glove on one hand so I can hold them while I'm painting them without getting the paint all over my hands like I just did right there. And I'm going to paint the front, the back, and the inside, so completely coat it. And I'm doing that with all 3 of them. And next, you're going to take a piece of cardboard that measures 3 inches by 2¼ inches, and you're going to take some yarn. I'm just using some white yarn. It's just kind of a thin yarn by Yarn Bee. And I'm going to start off by making a tassel. I'm going to cut a string right across the top part, and then I'm going to start my tassel down at the bottom, and I'm going to wrap this 26 times. And depending on how many of these you're going to make, you're going to need 4 of the white tassels per each one of your little angels. And then once you get down to 26, then you're going to go ahead and cut that off and then tie off the top part. And you're going to tie it in a knot, and you're going to tie it really tight. And then pull it off your cardboard, cut through the loops, and then just take it and put it in your hand and then cut the fringe on the bottom kind of in a straight line. Just kind of even them out a little bit. So I'm taking a 1/4 inch drill bit, and I'm going to drill a hole right through the center of those little circles that we glued together. And this is what we're going to put a dowel stick in. And you're only drilling about halfway through. And then we're going to take some wood glue, and we're going to take a 1/4 inch by 6 inch dowel stick and place it into that same circle and let those dry. Do clean any excess glue off before it completely dries. And just make sure your stick is sticking up straight. Okay, while that dries, we're going to make a couple more little tassels, and this is going to be for the hair. And I'm just using a tan color for her hair. You could use blonde color or whatever color you want. And I'm doing this one 27 times. And then just tying it off just like we did the other one, and we'll cut the loops off. And this is going to be for the back of her hair, and then we're going to make 2 more to go down the sides. And then you can make 2 more tassels, but you're only going to go around these 4 times, and this is going to be for the side of her hair. And you need 2 of these. And then just trim those off as well at the bottom. Next, we're going to shorten our stick. We're going to cut it off till it's about 4½ inches in length. And I'm just using some miter shears to do that. Use some wood glue to attach our popsicle stick to our dowel stick. Just come straight down the center. Line that up. I'm coming down probably about 1/2 inch from the top. And I'm just going to use a couple little clips to hold it in place until it dries. To attach the little halo, I'm just going to use some hot glue, put it around the inside edge of this, and then just place it right on top of her head and let that dry. Okay, to assembler, I'm just going to take the little tassels, and I'm going to kind of line them up to where I'm overhanging the edge, probably about 1/2 inch. Just push it right on top of there with some hot glue and let that dry. And then I'm going to add the next one just above that one, and I'm going to push it right around the neck area to make sure it is flush and it does fill in that all that area around the neck. And I am trimming these off as I go. And they don't have to be perfect, just kind of trim them up a little bit, but put a lot of glue right around the neck area there and push it up there and hold it, push it on in there and hold it till it does dry. You want that to be completely sealed in up there. Flip her over, and we're going to start putting the other tassels onto the back part. And we're going to line this one up with the same one on the bottom. And then we're going to come down a little bit lower on the second one because we are going to have to put her hair in. On the next one, we're going to come down probably about 1 inch on this one from the top part of the other one. Otherwise, you'll have too much bulk there once you get her hair put in. Okay, and then take the hair part, and we're going to go right up against the bottom part of that little halo, and we're going to push it up there just like we did the one on the neck, so it does kind of wrap around it a little bit. And you want to really push it up there so that it wraps around the little halo. And the little forward tassel, you're going to put one on each side. Just kind of really push it up there so it's kind of hidden. And on the bottom part of her dress, I'm just kind of curving it up a little bit on both sides. Next, I'm taking a 2.5-inch popsicle stick and some little 1-inch felt hearts, and I'm going to attach them to the ends of each side of this for wings. And if you don't have felt hearts, you can just use some little wooden hearts if you have those. They have those at Michael's and Hobby Lobby, but I'm just using 1 inch, and then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to add another one at the very tip of the one on each side. And then I'm going to cover the ones up on the back with some more hearts just to cover up that stick. So you need 10 hearts altogether. And the ones on the back will just hide the stick, and then glue the sides as well so that they're hidden too. And to dress the wings up a little bit, I'm just taking some of the little crystals and I'm going to put them on 2 of the hearts. And I'm going to do that on both ends. To attach the wings, I'm just going to pull the top layer of the tassel up, put some glue right here, and just glue it straight across. And then I'm kind of pulling her hair in the front, the 2 little tassels from the sides, just pull them in front. And that's pretty much it. For this next one, I've given you the pattern for this mitten in the description below, and you're going to cut out 5 of these. I cut them out of just some white felt. And I bought my white felt at Hobby Lobby. I just bought it by the yard. And I've given you the pattern in both PDF and SVG, so if you do have a cutting machine, you can just cut it out with that. But you are going to cut out 5 of these. After you get them all cut out, we're going to take 2 of them and we are going to glue around the edges. Now, you're going to leave the bottom part open because we are going to fill it with some polyfill. Just try to get as close to the edge as you can so that we can get plenty of polyfill in there. And just kind of line it up as you're going around just to make sure that you are getting them even. And you could make this out of fleece as well. Any kind of fabric that doesn't fray or require you to make a hem on the end of it, you can use for this. But this is just some thicker felt that I got at Hobby Lobby. It's thicker than just the little skinny sheets. It's more called the premium if you're buying it by the sheet. Next, I'm going to take some polyfill and I'm going to fill this up. Now, I'm not going to stuff it really fat. I just want to get enough padding in it till it's about maybe 1 inch thick. And then be sure and stick some down into the thumb area as well. And I'm just using a ruler to kind of push it on down into the tip. I get it completely filled in as thick as I wanted it. I'm just going to go ahead and glue up the bottom part. Then the other 3 mittens, we're going to glue those together just like we did the first one, but we are going to glue 3 of these together. And you're leaving the bottom open on all 3 of them. And again, try to get as close to the edge as you can. And then glue the 3rd one right on top of that. Just make sure that you are getting those lined up good. And again, you're leaving the bottom open on this one as well. So you'll have 3 layers with 2 pockets. Then the top layer, the first pocket that's on top, we're going to fill this up with polyfill. So the very top one you're filling with polyfill. And then I grabbed some pliers because it did help me kind of push it down in there a little bit because it is kind of thick. And this one you want to fill pretty full. Okay, then once you get it completely full, we're going to go ahead and glue up the bottom part, just the top layer bottom. Okay, next I got some greenery from Amazon. I'll give you the link for this, and I'm just putting 4 of them into the very back pocket of the mitten. Just kind of fill it up. Next, I'm taking a piece of trim that measures 2 inches by 10 inches. I got this at Joann's Fabrics, and it just came on a roll kind of like ribbon, and I'm just wrapping it around starting in the very front, and I'm going to go all the way around to the back. And I'm overhanging the top part of the mitten probably about maybe 1/4 of an inch. And then when you glue the other side, just glue that right over to the top part of the other side, and it'll blend all together. Mine was a little bit long, so I'm going to say maybe about 9 inches on that one. And then right at the very top, where it meets the top part of the mitten, go ahead and take a little bit of time and glue that in good too, just so that it is flush with the greenery. And then on the trim part right there, just glue it right across there and then glue across the seam as well. And then that'll be one solid piece. And then I'm going to put the trim on the second one exactly the same way. And we're going to pair these together here in a little bit. Next, I'm just going to add a little bling to it. I'm just going to go down at a diagonal across the front part, starting at the top. And I'm using a little jewel setting tool that I got on Amazon. I'll give you the link for it, but it really does work great. And then I'm going to start below it again, kind of offset a little bit on a diagonal. And I'm going to go down that too. Now, I'm going to kind of go fast so you can see what I'm doing, but not just have to sit here and watch me glue little dots on here. And if you take your glue gun and just kind of do a little dot, move it off of there real quick, you'll just get the little dot. You won't have a lot of strings. Just kind of quickly just dot, dot, dot. And then I'm going to decorate the second one up exactly the same way. Because I did want these to match. Next, to join the two, I'm just taking a 1/2 inch brown ribbon. And had I thought about doing this earlier, I would have just glued that inside before I glued my trim shut. But I'm going to sew this onto the back, and then I'm going to blend my hair onto it so you don't even hardly see it at all. So I'm just kind of doing some light stitches all the way around with some brown thread. And then this way, I think it'll hold a little bit better too if you do sew it on, but you can glue it as well because these are not heavy. And then I'm going to spot stitch these together once I get this one on here. Just make sure that your ribbon is looped right. You want to just make sure that it comes over the one and goes into the other. And I am going to stitch this one in here as well. I just think it will hold up a little bit better. And I'm just going to sew that right up to the top, just kind of stitch it in there, and then I'll combine the two here in a minute. Okay, then I'm going to stitch these together just right at the top. I'm just going to kind of put them at a diagonal from each other, and I'm going to spot stitch just a few stitches. I'm not going to do a lot of stitches, maybe 2 or 3 stitches just to hold them together, but not kind of permanently bind them so they do still have some movement. And I probably should have done it before I put all that greenery in there, but I didn't. And then just to give it a little color, I'm adding a little berry pick that I got at Michael's right down into the front part. And I'm not even going to glue it in. I'm just going to stick it in there. All right, and then you can just hang the two together. Look how cute those are. One, you're going to take a little metal tin, and I'll give you the link to where I got these below. And I'm just putting it right in the center of a piece of burlap. Now go ahead and measure your burlap. Just pull it up around the side just to make sure you get it long enough to hang over the edge a little bit. Go ahead and remove your little handle, and then we're just going to start gluing it together. So go ahead and start pulling it up around the little container and put a rubber band around there, and then start straightening out your pleats. Okay, then we're just going to go ahead and start gluing it in. Just make sure it is flat on the bottom. And then I'm going to come back in with a piece of jute, and I'm going to tie it around, and I'm going to try to get as close up to the top part of that little container as I can. And then I'm just going to tie that in a knot and then tie it in a bow. And then just go ahead and cut off the excess around the top, leaving about maybe an inch or 3/4 of an inch around the top part of it. And then we're just going to attach some styrofoam in the middle of it, and we're gonna add some greenery. Now this is a garland I got at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to make these into little Christmas trees. This was $11.99, and it was on sale for 60% off, and you can make about 20 trees with this. These make great teacher gifts, great neighbor gifts. They just look really cute. They're just a little bitty tree. Just kind of bring it up as far as you can get it till you have a tree looking, and then we're just going to stick it right down in the center. You don't even have to glue it in. Just stick it right down in the center, and then just shape it out to make it look like a tree. And then we're going to come back in with some black and white baker's twine, tie another little bow on it, and then I'm going to put some pine cones on it. This is a super quick and easy project. You can make a lot of them in no time. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video today. Some of these things you could actually use on your packaging or your little gift bags, and not only just for decor. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for being here, and if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. See you next time. Thanks for watching.